Okay, so as folks continue to join, we can get started and just do a quick overview of today's agenda. So my name is Megan Cole, and I'm really excited to be doing this webinar today on how to upload and optimize your InDesign content with Issuu. So again, a quick overview of today's agenda. The first 5 minutes or so will be some introductions and an overview of Issuu. And then over around 30 minutes or so, I'll be doing a product demo followed by a Q&A session as well. Let me just see. So Q&A questions will be answered at the end, and then if you stick around following the Q&A, we have some special offers or maybe some extra surprises for folks who stick around. Let's see, so I think we are just about ready to get started. So a couple of housekeeping items. All participants today will be muted throughout the duration of the presentation, just to ensure the best audio quality for everyone. If you have any questions, you can submit them anytime during the webinar. You can do this by clicking the Q&A button shown below, kind of right where it's circled. So today, either myself or Michelle, my associate, will be helping answer those questions to the best of our abilities. And finally, we will be recording today's webinar, and we'll share the link in our follow-up communications, so you can listen to it again or share it with others who may be interested. So I'll be trying to do my best to answer any Q&A questions and keeping an eye on the webinar chats as well. But for during the demo portion, I'll probably be a little bit more focused on the demo itself. So today's speaker is me, Megan Cole. I am a product marketing manager at Issuu. So I have, prior to working at Issuu, where I've been for the last couple of years, I worked in advertising as well as design, doing quite a bit of kind of strategy work, as well as graphic design work and some print production pieces, in particular designing some print ads very early on in my career. I'm a big fan of all things digital, and I'm really excited to be doing today's webinar to show you some of the tips and tricks to best optimize your InDesign content to upload it to Issuu. Before we get started, we do have just one quick poll because we'd love to know what everyone's level of expertise is with InDesign. So I'm going to make this poll live now. So if you could please answer what your expertise with InDesign is. Depending on kind of the answer, I'll try to adjust today's demo to make the most sense for everyone. Awesome. Okay, so looks like most folks are in kind of the intermediate to advanced, which is super cool. But I'll also make sure to answer and give some tips and tricks for the more beginner level InDesign users as well. So a little bit about Issuu. Our mission is to enable anyone from independent creators to global brands to create, share, measure, and monetize their digital content. What this really means in, is, I know this looks very complicated, but I promise it's not, is really the publishing process on Issuu. All you have to do is upload your PDF content or other digital content you may have. Some of the benefits of that are the ability to generate other derivatives for your social media or your mobile experiences, which you can then share anywhere across all digital platforms as well as your email. And finally, measure the impact with our issue analytics tools as well. So today we'll be covering mostly how to publish your content to Issuu, following some of our best practices and export settings for your Issuu publications, as well as a little bit of how you can generate your derivatives and share content anywhere you want. One thing that I think is really cool as well is the ability to measure how your content performs once it's been uploaded and shared. This way it can inform what you want to do with that content in terms of other ways you might want to share it, or certain aspects that you really want to highlight, or anything else. And that will bring us to the webinar portion. So today, again, I'm going to show you how we will take this InDesign document that I've already designed and have kind of ready, how we export that in order to create a issue publication. So here you can see the nice page flips. We have some automatic video playing features as well as some link detection and the really nice page flip experience. I will note today, I will not be going over too in-depth how to design content in InDesign. If you are looking for more resources on that, I highly suggest and recommend looking up tutorials from Adobe's own websites. They have a lot of really great tutorial content as well as informational content within their own help centers. If you are looking to design your own publications and you don't have any templates just yet, we also have, let me find it. We have some free templates available in our help center that you can download and edit to your liking. Again, I won't be going too in depth on how to set these up today, but if that's something folks are interested in, we may do another webinar in the future as well. So stay tuned. Let's see. So going back to our InDesign file, here I have my publication all ready to go. I have all of my content, the images that I want in it. I'm kind of in that working preview so I can see my guides and all of the other elements that I wanted to add into it. Could I share how to put a video in InDesign and have it? Yes. So one of the items I'll be showing is how we add hyperlinks, which can also be automatically detected with Issuu. So here I am going to right click over to hyperlinks, do new hyperlink, and let's just keep it super simple and do issuu.com/webinars. Just for good measure. So I'll just make that into a link. And then for the video content, here I basically took a box. So I used the rectangle frame tool and I right clicked again, created a hyperlink. Here I'll edit this hyperlink and I put in my YouTube destination. And with Issuu's automatic detection, we are able to detect video links from YouTube or from Vimeo and convert them into embedded player links as well. This is a really nice feature for just creating any of your digital content and really enhancing that content to be even more digital, or taking any print production pieces you might have and giving them a little bit extra value on digital space. So once my publication is ready to go, I have all of my content in here. I have the links that I want to link out. I'm going to go and export it. So the export settings for this document are going to be over here. So File, Export, or you can do Command E if you're on Mac. And there are different formats for the way you export your files. So when you are exporting for issue content, you want to make it an Adobe PDF with the parentheses interactive as opposed to print. So an interactive PDF is going to get all of the settings that you need for your issue document to be ready and compatible. If you're asking your designer for these files, you can just ask them for an interactive PDF and they'll know what to do from there. So I'm going to click save. Oops, well, I'm just going to replace it. And here again, I'm going to go into some of the settings for exporting your interactive PDF. So essentially the only thing that, the most important thing, I check off these options, as well as make sure when I am exporting it, I'm going to export it as pages instead of spreads. So this will make each page in my document an individual page instead of having the 2-page spreads exporting out together, because we will automatically create the spreads for you with our own detection. Another setting I double check is in the compression settings here. For the image compression, you will want it to be a high quality JPEG, and the resolution for PPI or pixels per inch, you can set it at 150, which is pretty high resolution for digital purposes. We really make sure and take a lot of care in making sure the content that you export is pretty high resolution when you upload it to Issuu. So now I'm going to click export, and it's going to export my PDF. And now it is all ready. So here is what the PDF, once it's exported, is going to look like in Acrobat or your PDF reader. As I mentioned before, since we exported it as individual pages, it's going to have this like individual page scrolling, so you're not going to see both spreads at the same time. And this is also how you would typically see it if you emailed the PDF, for example, or sent people to a link to a downloadable PDF, which, while it's really nice, I think there are a lot of opportunities to optimize it even further. And that's really the goal with uploading your content to Issuu. So now that my content has been exported from InDesign as a PDF, I'm going to switch over to my Issuu homepage here and upload my content. So today in my demonstration, I am going to be showing a combination of some of our free as well as our paid plan features. I'll do my best to indicate which elements are free versus which are paid features. So I'm going to go over here to the upload button on the left-hand navigation. And I can now drag and drop my files from either my desktop, my device, or from Dropbox and Google Drive. So what's really nice about that is if you have your designer kind of sending you your files in any of those like cloud services, you can also just automatically pull them from here as well. I have one more thing to note, so sorry, I just remembered with your export settings for your InDesign files. One thing when you're exporting to really double check is if the format has been exported as print PDF. And you do not want these printer marks to be set. So if, for example, you have a PDF that may have originally been a print magazine that was sent to a printer, the printer marks might be enabled, which you do not want in an Issuu document. Essentially, these printer marks are ways to just double check the color accuracy of your document. But when it's uploaded to, when it's uploaded to Issuu, those printer marks will also show up in the document. So you just want to make sure when your document is exported, it doesn't have these pieces, the little rainbow or the box or any of these indicators. So if you receive a PDF that looks like this, just ask for it to not have the printer marks included. This won't be a setting if you are exporting your document as an interactive PDF though. So that's just one caveat as well. So back to uploading. When I am going to upload, I'm going to choose from my device, and I'm going to select the correct document that we just exported and click open. And as it is uploading, I'm going to add some additional details. So here in the description, this is a great way to add even more information to improve your search optimization. That really helps Issuu in terms of categorizing your content and making it easier to find in the search. I won't add too much in today's for time purposes. You can also add more information to increase your chances of being promoted by Issuu, including what type of content it is. Again, here's the detected links. So this is part of the paid plan. We can automatically detect any hyperlinked content that you may have added in your document, as well as creating an unlisted publication, which would be a private publication only readers who have the link can see, or scheduling your content for later dates, as well as allowing downloads. So anything with these green stars are going to be part of the paid plans. So as you are kind of creating your account and playing around, just note that anything that has green stars is going to kind of indicate it's part of a paid plan versus a free plan. So now that my content has been uploaded, here you can see again, we have the 2-page spreads back in their 2-page spread glory. And once it's ready, I'm going to click publish now. So once it's live, we just give you some different ways that you can share your content that I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on now. So the first way, I think, and the way that we're most excited for after you've designed your InDesign document would probably be the ability to embed it on your website. So again, this is part of our paid plans. You can essentially get the iframe code here that you can just copy and paste into your website. So the HTML is all kind of set up and ready to go. So all you have to do is copy and paste it into your WordPress or website or anywhere that you might have these details. We have a few different settings as well that you can play around with here in terms of the size that you would like for your document to embed on. You can also adjust the background color. So we automatically detect some of the colors from your published content to give you suggestions, but you can also choose from the color picker or select if you have any brand colors, for example, with hex codes. A few other settings you can adjust if you want it to be single page instead of double page. You can also make it that single page version, or you can use the double page spreads. And we have a few more advanced settings, also part of the paid plans. So once that is ready, you can get the embed code and embed it straight onto your website. I don't have this one specifically, but here's an example of what embeds look like on a blog post on how to distribute catalogs. So it just automatically embeds straight into our blog post to make it super easy to flip through the different pages. This is a catalog from Patagonia, and I think is a really nice example as well. Another way that you can share your PDF content once it's ready is the full screen sharing. So this is how I showed it earlier in today's demonstration. Again, you can adjust the colors. You can add a logo. So if you have a logo that you want to add for your own brand, you can add some logo imagery as well, or any background images. And once that's ready, you just click save and get link, and then it will give you a shareable link that you can copy and paste. And it will take them straight to this full screen version. So again, this is another one of our paid features. The difference between this versus the full screen reader, the full screen reader versus how it looks normally on Issuu. Sorry. So this is how it would look on just issue.com as a kind of regular issue link versus the full screen example. So the full screen reader is really nice to get them fully engaged on your publication, as well as interacting with the full piece and being able to do these really nice page flips as well. So those are the two ways that you can share your full screen content or your embedded content from the publication that you've created in InDesign. We also have additional tools to optimize your content that we're really excited to share today as well. So some of those features include our mobile optimizations as well as our social sharing tools. So here I'm just going to go over into my example. So for our mobile or as well as desktop optimizations, we have a tool that we call article stories. So here I'll show you by going over to edit. Essentially what we've done is taken all of the elements from your uploaded PDF content, including the text as well as the images, separated them out back into their original layers and created a HTML5 kind of scrolling experience that you can share as individual links. So it will, once it's kind of carried over, you can kind of click to add, change the hierarchy with some of the different text settings as well. It will look a little bit like this. So the benefits of doing this is really when you are on your PDF content with the page flips on mobile devices, it might be a little bit harder to read in terms of having to pinch in and out of the content. So we've created this as a really nice solution, especially for mobile, but also for just general content, other ways to consume the content and share it out as well. So once the content has been made into that article story version, I can also adjust the cover photo, move any content around or change the type a little bit, and publish. Once it's ready to go, you'll have a shareable link that you can copy and paste to share anywhere, or you can also share it on any of your different social channels with our really easy buttons that allow you to share it. Going back to my publications, another piece that I'm excited to share is our visual stories tool. So with visual stories, here over in the left-hand side again, I'm going to click Get Started. And using the same principles essentially as the article stories tool, we can automatically detect the images and text again from your publication and optimize it for vertical video content. So here we have a couple different styles. For example, I'm going to use the Engage style. We have a few different templates that you can choose from, and you can just really easily kind of click and drag to update the content, change it around, any of the text that you might have. If you want to make any edits, you can also copy and paste it, as well as change the fonts. And finally, you can preview it. This logo can also be changed. It's just my profile logo, so it will automatically pull whatever your profile logo is. But you can also change those out as well. While I am in the webinar kind of example, I'm also just going to double check some of the Q&As. Yes. So for video and link detection, once you have checked off the link detection in your content, you can double check it by going over to the Enhance button here, add links and videos. It will show you all of the detected links that we were able to find. Here I can click Edit Links. So here we have all of the social links that we had already linked in, as well as that box that I added the YouTube video for. So here I can click Edit Link, and this will show you some of the different options for your linked content as well. So since we have detected that it is a video piece, I checked off embed in publication and autoplay. This is one of our paid features, but that is how you can automatically play content. The other ways is playing it in overlay or embedding it in the publication. So when you choose play in overlay, here, let me save that and show you what that looks like. Instead of automatically playing in the piece, it will show you kind of a pop-up version of that content. So that concludes the InDesign to issue demonstration. We have one more quick poll, and then we'll be going more in depth on the Q&A questions. So if you're interested in a one-on-one consultation on how Issuu can help transform your content into stories, emails, and social posts to engage your customers, please just check yes in the poll here. So the poll is now live. And while everyone answers, I'll just be going through some of the Q&A questions as well. Awesome. Thank you all for answering today's Q&A. So now I'll be going through some of the Q&A questions. And Michelle, if there are any in particular that you saw over the course of the demonstration, please let me know. Let's see. Yes, so the Issuu export preset is another great way to export your content. That will work fine. We have, so for those who might not know, in our help center, we also have a free export preset for InDesign. So that will automatically export your content. Interactive, I would say, is a little, saving it as an interactive PDF is a little bit easier way to export your content as well. But you can also use the export preset. They both essentially will accomplish the same thing. And yes, any past publications for digital content, such as PDF content, you don't have to change it to be interactive. It's just the best way I would suggest in uploading your content in the future for our link detection in particular.
Hey, Megan, we have a question. Is it possible to do horizontal flipbooks or only vertical?
I believe that we have only vertical flipbooks at the moment. If you say an export. Yep, so we do have an export preset as well. whoops, which we will share in our follow-up communications.
I have another question for you from Holly. Do clicks on the embedded links go into the issue publication stats?
Yes, so for your clicks in your publications, they will go into the statistics. You can also add any like UTM parameters or additional details in your you can also add any other UTM or tracking in your links as well if you wanted to add even more details, but we do also track them. Our font. So the fonts are also detected in your uploaded content, and we take a lot of care in terms of converting them for the full screen reader and for the embed previews. So when you zoom in, they maintain their kind of scale and size as well. Sharing stories on social media in terms of affecting your issue statistics. I can do a little bit more. Let me switch back to my issue doc. So over here in the home page, if I go over to my statistics, here I have all of the statistics for all of my publications. And it will break it out by your publication. So that is your full screen or your embedded or your page flip version, as well as your article versions and your visual story versions. So these are obviously not, this is more of a webinar test account. So these numbers aren't necessarily accurate to your own statistics, but we have a lot of different ways that indicate the different interactions on our content as well. So that's a little bit of detail into statistics.
Another question, can you create a flipbook from a Google Slides document?
Yes, so I think I also saw some similar questions on whether you could create content from Canva or from Photoshop. One thing to note is the real benefit of Issuu is that we are pretty agnostic in terms of what you are uploading your content from. As long as the file is saved as a PDF, that is really the best way to export your content for our conversion purposes. As long as you save it as a PDF, whether it is Google Slides, Microsoft Word document, created from Canva, or any other kind of tools, you can also export it for Issuu.
And then if you could touch on exporting the visual story for Instagram, again, just to go over that, I think just a refresher, because I think there's some interest there based on some of the questions I'm seeing.
Okay, got it. So going back into the visual stories tool, let me just pull my document. Here on the visual stories, the difference between this for mobile optimization versus the articles tool, for example, is that this is really nice for promotional purposes. So if you want to take your content and get folks to read it and interact with it on social, we recommend using visual stories, especially for those cases. So you can take this content, edit it to your liking, etc. And then when you click create story, it is going to update and make some MP4 video files that you can save to your device, whether it is your desktop or using our mobile app. It will also be in your logged in state on the mobile app that we have. So you can save those elements and share them on your social media channels, such as your Snapchat or your Instagram channel or your Facebook channel, anywhere that has those kind of stories examples where you can tap through the different videos, you can download these either as the individual kind of slides or pages or as one continuous video that you can then upload on any channels. You can also share this visual story as a link, which here is what that looks like. So with this AMP link, it is the accelerated mobile pages version. So these are indexed with Google and are just a really great way to both enhance your search optimization as well as create kind of a sneak peek preview that links back to your full content as well. So that's a little bit more on the visual stories tool. We have a lot more information as well on Issuu with our features. And if there is interest, we can also do a more in-depth webinar on the visual stories in the future.
Thanks, Megan. One final question is, what about GIFs? Is it possible to make an embedded content with GIFs?
Sorry. So depending on my understanding of the question, we have a couple different answers. So when you have any GIF content in your publication, for example, it's just, I believe, going to be flat. So I would recommend adding it as video content. One way that you can do that, if you haven't already hyperlinked the content, you can also add links by clicking add links and just add a square in there and add any of those pieces in. If you want to create a GIF from your content, we have a share setting over here called Create GIF. So you can take any of the spreads from your preview and create kind of a preview version of that document that you can also download as either an MP4 or as a GIF file. So once it is exported, this is another way that you can share your content as just another kind of promotional piece to encourage folks to see and interact with your content as well. Sorry, I hope that answered your question.
Yep, I think that was good. And I know we're running out of time, even though there's some still really good questions out there.
Yes. So just as thanks for everyone for joining today's webinar. We have some special webinar savings for all of the participants today. So you can save 50% off of the Issuu Premium Annual Subscription. So this is just for Issuu accounts. The offer code is ID50 PREMANNUAL. To note, if you are a new user, when you can just take this offer code and put it into your new account creation. If you are an existing user, you already have an account and you might not be on Issuu Premium Annual, just wait until we send an email link, because we have a specific email link for our Issuu users. So the offer code is only for new accounts. So this offer is good for upgrading plans, and it will expire on September 25th at midnight. So that is this Friday that you can use the offer code, is only redeemable until this Friday. So I really encourage you to try out Issuu, get the 50% off the Issuu Premium savings with this offer code if you're a new user. And again, just want to thank everyone for joining today. If you have any other information or if you're curious about more, check out the Help Center or issuu.com/webinars and issuu.com/features as well. We'll be sending follow-up email with recording of today's presentation, as well as additional details and resources following today's webinar. So thanks all for joining again.